A lot of people are having trouble finding work right now, and I thought this would be a really good time to tell my story about how I did find what I thought was a dream job opportunity, and I was let go after 2 months. And it was the worst professional experience I've ever had. Now, this was a contract role, meaning I worked with a recruiter to help me facilitate the role itself. So I wasn't on the staff at this popular social network. Technically, I was on a contract. So after I got the contract, it almost actually felt like I was a part of the team. And that's what I was excited about the most, which was having an opportunity within this contract to prove myself, show that I actually do know what I'm doing, show some great results, and then hopefully get a full-time role from this opportunity. Now, the interview process was pretty standard. There was one red flag that I wish I paid more attention to, and that was the person who was interviewing me, my would-be manager, who did end up being my manager, was asking questions that seemed like they were trying to talk me out of it, as if their mind was made up already, or maybe they were hiring a relative. It was just a feeling that I had that they didn't want me there. They didn't know anything about me. Maybe they saw something online, though my record's like squeaky clean. It's almost embarrassing. It was really strange. So after that happened, I thought, okay, there's no way I'm getting this job. I'm just going to do my best. I'm going to go get a matcha and a sweet treat after, and we'll see what happens. Now, to be honest, I needed the money, and I was looking for work. I needed money to fuel my life, right? Pay my bills, and also fueled by entrepreneurial projects. So I thought, okay, this is a little strange, but I'm gonna still try my best, and if it works out, that's great. So this was a final round interview. At this point, I think it was 4 rounds, one with my actual agency that helped facilitate the job, another with my boss's boss, and then the final one with my boss. And after that conversation, I was just like, you know what? I just interviewed at like this really cool company that you only like hear about in movies, one movie in particular. And I thought this was pretty cool to get to this stage. I don't care what happens next. So I was out one night on a date, and I got an email in the middle of it. Yes, I checked my phone. She was in the bathroom, whatever. And I got the job. The headline said like, congratulations. Maybe I could find it, but whatever. It said, congratulations, you got the job. Here are the next steps, right? Mind blown. Can't believe this is happening. I also remember, now that I'm recalling it, I actually like said that. I said I got the job at this place as a flex because it was a first date, and I thought saying something like that would actually do me a favor, and turns out the way that it sounded, I guess, seemed like a little annoying, pretentious, all things I don't really like to associate myself with. But anyway, I got the job. Date didn't work out. Totally fine. I went home and I started processing. Okay, so I got the job and I needed to prepare. I was super nervous because this job was objectively the coolest opportunity I ever had professionally, from like a 9-to-5 perspective. And I thought, okay, I'm going to learn everything I possibly can. I'm going to ignore the red flag from the interview. And I'm just going to go in with a plan. I'm going to make notes. I'm going to ask questions. And I'm just going to crush it. I'm going to use everything I've learned in my career. And I'm just going to try my best to like make it work. Impress them enough so that they can't end the contract. They need to extend me. And they need to bring me on full time, right? That would be amazing. So, you know, when you start a job and you're really excited about it, and the first week or two go by and you're like, wow, like I'm making all these cool new friends, and I got this custom sweatshirt with the brand on it, and we're going out to lunch, and I can see myself here for like a few years, and I get to tell my friends and family it's going so well. That lasted 4 days. Now, the reason it lasted 4 days, I think it was like 4 days. It definitely wasn't a full week. I still felt like, oh my God, I'm not here a week and shit is hitting the fan. If you are in a management position and your role, objectively, is to guide, educate, and teach people under you, right? Your employees. That should be your ultimate focus. And unfortunately, I believe I was paired with a manager who preferred to showcase her managerial status than teach, support, guide, collaborate, work together. It was somebody who loved having manager in their role, and they just wanted to show it off, and they did so feeling like there were no consequences. Very bad idea. So I'm having a terrible week, and I come back home and I'm talking to my friends and family, and I'm just saying, I'm lying. I'm straight up lying, and I'm saying, oh yeah, it's great. Just going through the systems, and I'm learning everything, and they have their own procedure, and I'm training, I'm onboarding. And I was straight up lying because before I had the job, I was going around telling everyone about it because I was so excited to start. And I thought only good things are going to happen. I'm going to crush it. It's going to be the only job I ever need. And this is how I was really feeling. So instead of being honest with people who are asking like, oh, how is it going? I lied because I wasn't ready to start talking about how awful, and terrible I was treated. As someone who's only been there about a week, I was still processing what was happening. And it made me feel terrible because on one hand, I was so excited at this new opportunity, knowing nothing was guaranteed, but still felt like I could navigate it, even from those interview red flags. I really felt like I could, and I really, at this point, on my second week, felt incredibly helpless. Now, keep in mind, this was a place that offered complimentary and really good quality breakfast, lunch, dinner, buffet style. They had a sushi bar, a smoothie bar. They had a tech station where you can grab any piece of equipment that you needed to make sure, that you were doing the best you possibly could. So it was kind of like living on a cruise ship with unlimited budget to eat and explore whatever you wanted. It sounds good, right? Okay, so I'm about 3 weeks in and I'm on my way to work. And, if you're in New York City and you know anything about the subways, they're great. Arguably, it's probably the most efficient way to travel on the planet when it's working. There were train delays and I was going to be late. So I had my corporate phone, something I wish never existed. And I got a text from my manager saying, where are you? We need to go over a few things. Let me know when you get here. Sounds fine, right? And then I say, sorry, subway is running late. Thought I could make it on time. I'm just going to be a little late. I apologize. So she replies back to me and says, this does not look good for you. I wish I still had this screenshot, but it's a corporate phone, so I'm not getting that back. But she said, this does not look good for you. She said, optically, it looks very poor. And keep in mind, I just met this person. I'm learning as much as I can. This is a new system. It's the same strategy. This was a social media job. But I'm just getting used to how this major company operates, being that small fish. And in that moment, I'm wearing a shirt and a tie and dress shoes, and it's hot, I'm uncomfortable. And I'm going into another day of what I considered my own personal hell, something that turned into such a promising, positive, optimistic opportunity has now become something I dread, and I can't wait to be over. But I didn't want it to be over because I needed money. So I finally make it to the office, and there's security. You have to scan your badge. You probably know where this is at this point, but I get up to the floor where I'm at, where my desk is. I check in with my manager. I say, hey, super sorry, I'm late. I didn't eat anything this morning. I'm feeling a little lightheaded. It's so hot outside. Is it okay if I go grab a smoothie? And admittedly, the smoothie bar is probably my favorite part of working there, to be honest. I know it sounds crazy, or a little silly, but it got me through the days. And the smoothies were amazing. So I said, is it okay if I grab one? And she looked at me like I just ran over a relative and then backed up. It was so insulting to say, I'll be right back. I just need a little fuel and then we can get into it. And in that moment, I knew I messed up. Now, when I say I messed up, I mean that I messed up accepting this job. Not, I don't care about what I said. I expressed a feeling and I said, is it okay if I just go grab a smoothie? I'll come right back and we can get into it. And her reaction was that of someone who has never had any real manager experience, or she's had really bad managers in her past and now she's getting revenge or something. It was very strange because we weren't that close for her to start talking to me this way. So she said, fine, go ahead, whatever. Now keep in mind, this is one floor out of like 8 floors of a big corporate company. There are a lot of people there. And even though there are a lot of people, it's not that loud. People are at their desks typing. Everybody heard her say this. So everyone's looking at me now, and it feels like I'm in high school again, where I tried to sit at the cool table without permission. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, I'm in an environment that should be professional. It should be, courteous and kind and, at the minimum, just polite. I was dead wrong. At this moment, I realized I made a huge mistake and that this job was not going to last. Now, keep in mind, I still knew we needed to have some conversations. I still knew we needed to talk about our working relationship and to be proactive, to be constructive, and to try to secure my job, yes, but preserve our working relationship because she wasn't going anywhere. I was on a contract. She could have easily just said, bye, I'm going to find someone else. So at this point, I didn't really have any support from anyone else there. Everybody who I had on my team was really just in their own worlds, doing their own thing. Ideally, I like to collaborate. I like to ask questions, and this is 9 to 5, Brandon. If I'm going to apply for a 9 to 5 and sit at a desk for 8+ hours a day, I'm going to set up a system and create a flow that works best for me that also benefits my team. But I'm also going to want to collaborate, say hello, go grab some lunch, get to know my team so we can all work better, deliver higher quality of work, and the company wins. I keep my job. But it was really like I was on my own and I was sitting at this desk just trapped thinking, if I keep this job, the pay will be very good. If I leave, the pay will not be very good because it won't exist. So look, I tried to talk with my manager. We had some conversations. It felt like she was intentionally sabotaging me. It was almost as if she wanted to hire someone else from the beginning. And that's when I started thinking about that red flag that I was feeling in the interview process, where she was just like, are you even qualified for this job? Do you know how hard it is? She was pushing me out. And I don't think it was she wasn't saying these things to test me and make sure I could handle it. The work wasn't that complicated, honestly, but someone within the social media marketing space would be able to reasonably do the work. She said it as if she was so mad that her boss did not want the person that she wanted, that she was taking it out on me and probably other applicants as well, which really sucks. So those conversations did not go well. I kept it super professional. My rule is when you're speaking with someone in a situation like that, you speak as if it's being recorded, as if 100 people are watching you. Because what you say, if you say the wrong thing or with the wrong tone, your job could be over like that. And this is another reason why I think 9 to 5 jobs are so terrifying, so unhealthy, and why I feel like everybody should just pursue entrepreneurship. It's not as hard as you think. I know that's kind of a broad, unspecific thing to say, but anyway, we had conversations. It did not go well. I was waiting for her to just let me go. I tried to reach her boss, but it was really hard to get in touch with her because she was on the West Coast and she was running this huge company. So it was very difficult. And then the day happened, but not the day that you think. And that day is when I was so anxious and I was so afraid and I was so insecure about what I was going to do, excuse me, about what I was going to do with my life. Obviously, I was going to have to get another job if this didn't work out. I was going to have to tell my family, my friends that this didn't work out after everyone was so excited about it, which is why you shouldn't share really good news until it's like really official or until you're like super settled in. On this day, I shit you not, I lost feeling in both of my legs. And I don't say that as someone who like sits at their desk for so long and like lose circulation. That was probably happening too. But I was so stressed, I could not get up from my chair. That the feeling, that the connection to my legs was off. And I thought, this is a sign. Eventually, I managed to get myself up from the desk, go to one of these like private conference rooms, lock the door, and just like try to breathe. And I'm just thinking about it now is it's making me a little anxious, but it's also very like freeing to talk about it a little more, because I feel like this whole story is important for anybody who is looking for work right now, is getting rejection letters or maybe getting let go. But anyway, we'll get to that in a second. At this point, I am in this conference room. I'm just like giving up. I'm not doing the work. The work that I was being given was like I was set up to fail. And everything that was delivered, anyone else could look at and think, oh yeah, this is acceptable. Or if it wasn't, they could say, you know what, can you just make these few changes? Then I think it'll be great. Fine, no problem. But this person was not giving me any wins. So I hid in that conference room for the rest of the day. My manager left. I waited till she actually like left for the day. She didn't tell me she was leaving. She was just like done with me. Like there was no resolution to be had. As much as I wanted one, as much as I wanted this to work out, I just knew in that moment that any chance we had of making things okay was over. And then I knew that I was just going to get a call or an email from HR and say, your contract's over. Sorry. So the next day, something happened that solidified that theory. And I think this is the part where I really want you to pay attention if you are someone who is thinking about getting another job and sees red flags in a potential manager. I want you to think about what I'm about to tell you now, because this is what really did it for me. So the next day I go into the office and I have this like cartoon cloud above my head. It's raining, it's storming. I'm sure you know what that feels like. And I needed to create this PowerPoint. It was one of my tasks that showed how I was going to create posts for the channels using a cool new feature that they were launching. So I sent it to my manager, and remember, this floor that I'm on has a lot of people. Everybody's working, so it's not loud just because of that. It's like dead silence, and everyone can kind of hear everyone speak. I see that she gets it in her email. I said, hey, I sent it over. Let me know what you think. And she storms over to me, like stomps her feet, walks over to me and says, what is this garbage? I'm going to get in so much trouble from my boss. She's telling me this. This is unacceptable. And everyone looks at me. Everyone is just like, oh my God, something exciting is happening today. And unfortunately, I was that exciting thing. I was getting reamed at. I was getting scolded on something that could have easily been fixed with specific direction, specific feedback. It was about the color of something. The brand had a very specific color scheme. Of course, I use Canva now and I have brand kits, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. But apparently the color was off. And my manager said, I'm going to send it anyway and see what they think. So in this corporate 9 to 5, there are multiple levels of approval. So even your manager doesn't make the final say. They're going to have to send it to, she had to send it to like 2-3 other people to get the go ahead. Not super efficient. So we waited for that to happen. Okay, so she sends it off. She CCs me on it, which was surprising. And apparently, so forget that. I don't want to get too far because this is what happens next. She comes back over to my work area, like storms over again, and says, I just got a scathing review, or scathing, she used the word scathing, that's what I remember, about this presentation. It is not accurate. I'm going to get in so much trouble. What is wrong with you? My manager said this to me less than a month of being there, in front of 100 people, super loud. And I was just in disbelief. I don't even know if I said anything back to her. I think I said like, I'm really sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, so she storms away, back to her desk. On her way back, she says out loud, like, so that people could hear it, almost intentionally, she says, I can't do this anymore. She actually said those words, I can't do this anymore, in front of everybody. I didn't know what that meant. She didn't elaborate. We weren't talking anymore. This is someone who's in a management position, by the way. And I thought, okay, not sure what she means, but she just started like angrily typing an email, as if she was like on stage playing a character, typing something aggressive. It was very strange. It was like almost acted out. And I didn't know what the hell was going to happen next. The end of the day comes. After that moment, I was just coasting. I felt like there's nothing I can do in this role right now under this manager that would make them happy enough to allow me to keep this job. I just feel it coming. I'm sure if you've had jobs before that you felt like you're about to be let go, it's a feeling you just get. It's like this physical warning that you feel, and you know it's going to happen, and you're just kind of ready for it. This is how I was feeling. So at that point, I was starting to like let go of all the perks and the benefits, the amenities, the lifestyle, and just planning my next move. So the end of the day comes. It's like 5:00, and I'm about to leave. And I shit you not, 5:01 p.m. comes around. My agency, the person that facilitated the contract for me to work there, she emails me and says like, I'm sorry, it didn't work out, you're being let go, your manager's not happy with your performance. And in that moment, the dream of having a promising career, to the chance to show that I was capable of making it happen, was over. Like, all of it was over. The fancy paycheck I was getting, the free meals every day, it was gone in an instant. And I just felt this overwhelming sense of relief, which might be surprising to you. Even this terrible toxic manager who made my 9-to-5 life and after hours life hell, she couldn't even find the minimum amount of energy to just let me know herself. And this has happened to me before in other jobs, before I was like a full-time entrepreneur, where I'd be in rooms with my manager, staying super silent, and an HR person reading a form to me, like basically giving me a sentence like, you're gone, this is what you do next. It's incredibly cowardice, unprofessional. And if you're going to be in a manager role and your job is to, measure the performance of your employees, you should be prepared to let them go if you decide you need to let them go. Don't let someone else do your dirty work for you. But I knew she wasn't going to do that because that's not who she is. So that was it. It was all over. I packed up, I went home. I think I got sushi or something. It's my comfort food. So I lost another job. I lost another awesome opportunity. And look, if you're looking for jobs right now, if you're applying to hundreds a day, if you're getting rejection emails, if you're getting to final stages and it's not working out, or if you are getting jobs and you're in the situation where now that you have the job, you're wishing you didn't have the job, all I can say is that the entrepreneur lifestyle means that you are in full control of your destiny. You're not, a moment away from losing everything. It's all up to you. It's all up to you. You have full control. And there are so many tools out there, just so many different ways where you could launch your passion into a business. I'm also saying this as someone who's like been an entrepreneur for a while now. So it's a little easier for me to look at my results and think, oh, anybody can do it. I know that's not true. And I know most people are most comfortable sitting at a desk 9 to 5 working to make someone else rich. Totally fine if that's your jam. But if you are going to be participating in this rat race, the applications, the rejections, the being fired, let go, like you're signing up for it when you apply to this job. So if you're applying for jobs right now, I would just want you to pay very close attention to the responses to the questions you ask, especially the ones you ask your potential manager, anybody who's above you. It can make or break everything. I had a job where I was getting free meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner every single day, a smoothie bar, a sushi bar. I was living the life. And I'm telling you, it was not worth it for a second. I would have given that all up immediately. And I was probably going to quit soon, but I thought, about to get paid. So like, honestly, why not just stick it out? So that's going to be it, guys. I think that what I want to start doing now, especially on these channels, is just talking more about my own life experiences, things that I think would be able to have value for you, aspiring entrepreneurs, brand owners, people who want to escape the 9 to 5 trap and just kind of make it on their own, choose your own adventure. Because I've had a lot of jobs in my past. You can look at my LinkedIn, like I've had some interesting ones. I've learned so much, and it pushed me on the path that I'm on now. So if you enjoyed this, let me know in the comments. If you've had experiences like this, let's talk about it, because I think a lot of us need support right now who are looking for jobs.